Come on, let's go. You want me to come, you want me to go. And if you wanna fight, let's start a show. Cause I want you to be mine. Stand up in the cloud. Come on.
Hello everyone, welcome to 220 World Dentistry. My guest will be Christian Coachman today. He is the founder of Digital Smile concept. Actually, it will be unfair if I will be introducing him today because whoever are just interested on digital dentistry and worldwide dentistry actually, he knows the name, and I will be really happy and honored to welcome him in my show. Dr. Christian, welcome.
Welcome. My pleasure. It's great to be here. Always great to connect with colleagues, young professionals, and share some ideas. My pleasure. Thanks for the invitation.
Thank you so much for accepting my invitation. I know you have a really tight schedule, and I'm really honored to you have a space for me, actually.
Yes, we have many webinars, one after the other, but yes, I believe we have until we have around minutes to discuss our topics.
Perfect, amazing. I will be heading you 10 questions that you will be giving short and really exact questions, exact answers, as I believe. And I will be really like to start with the DST concept, which you created. When you go back to 5 years or 6 years from now on, I was one of the attendees in the DST World Tour as well because of you and inviting me. That when you just compare the workflows back then and today, do you see that on those times, man, we were dealing with all keynotes, all the measurements and everything? What would you say about this time change?
Yeah, of course that technology has a natural and constant evolution. So every year we see better solutions, more simple solutions, more automated solutions. But what is important is that the principles, the concept that we developed more than 5 years ago, actually 11 years ago, with the philosophy of using technology to improve facially driven diagnostics and treatment planning, team communication and patient communication, the principles are still the same, but the tools are getting better. So of course that technically speaking, if you compare 5 years ago, we were transitioning from 2D digital into 3D digital. At that time, most of the people doing DSD were still using Keynote, PowerPoint, still doing handmade wax-ups. The softwares were not completely integrated. So the concept was ready, but the technology was not ready. And it's very good to see that today the technology got to the level of the concept, and today we can really perform full 3D workflows with great digital documentation, great digital communication, improved diagnosis, improved treatment planning, improved team communication, improve communication with the lab, create a 3D connection between the dentist and the lab, and really through 3D technology allow us to make what we call the copy-paste process, meaning doing a 2D become 3D, making a 3D design become a mock-up, making the mock-up look like the provisional, and making the provisional look like the final restoration. So technology is now ready to allow us to do this process in a very controlled way. So it's very exciting to see that finally the ideas that we had, more than 10 years ago are now very realistic and very affordable and very feasible.
Yeah. Even though the tools has so many advantages because of the communication, having the results perfectly, but many dentists complain about the time regarding the implementation of this smile design concept during the clinical workflow. What is the key point that you would suggest them, or what is the solution to go for it?
Yeah, that's a good question. That's the problem. When you think as a dentist, as a clinician, everything that you have to add to the process, it looks like a waste of time. But if we understand that the more we invest in diagnosis and treatment planning, we spend time at the beginning to save a lot of time at the end. So long term, the best way is to invest to make better planning, right? So every minute that you invest to make better planning, it's worth investing. Not only because the better the plan, the better the execution, and the better the outcome, so happier patients that will bring more patients, but also because as we invest time, as people believe is a waste of time, in fact is not a waste of time, because if we understand that we invest time at the beginning, time that we didn't invest before, so it feels like a waste, but we are actually investing time to improve the project, improve the plan, and with the better plan, we also improve drastically case acceptance. So one of the key factors of DSD is to increase the number of our happy patients that will bring more patients and increase the percentage of case acceptance. So the clinics that are investing time on DSD, they are actually growing instead of feeling like a waste of time. So it's all about being very strategic, being very intelligent as a dental office owner.
The one of the things that I would like to add actually on this, that the chairside time with the patient just to talk is really getting less when you just plan the treatment just before on the table and just show the results directly, and also the repetition of all the cases, all the treatments are just more or less that what I'm using and experienced so far.
Yep. Yeah.
One of the things that I would like to ask furthermore is that the DSD app and your concept is now with iTero and Invisalign are partners. So
yes.
Are you considering to connect other brands which are like Sirona, let's say 3Shape, would be inside the app and connected truly, so it will be much easier for everyone to use maybe?
Yes, every DSD service or solution is open, right? The DSD app and the DSD lab and the DSD planning center, we work with any file from any scanner, from any software. All the platforms are open, so doctors can scan with any scanner and use the DSD app and use the DSD lab and use the DSD planning center. And everything that we do, everything that we design, we can export, and the doctors and the technicians can import to any kind of software. So it's complete open world nowadays. what we have is that we have a special collaboration with the line, and because of that, we are developing unique, exclusive solutions that will make the iTero connection with the DSD app, that makes the iTero connection with the planning center a more streamlined process. So it's just nicer to work with us if you have an iTero, but it's not mandatory to have an iTero to work with us.
Perfect. You traveled all around the world, like you made the DSD World Tour, and also you are doing courses all around the world still. Which countries or regions, or like the cultures, people differences, are more likely to use digital smile design, or what are the common points of different cultures on this?
Yeah, we have a couple of countries that DSD grew more, and this is due to some factors that we do understand and some other factors that we don't know exactly why. But of course, because I'm from Brazil and everything started in Brazil, we also have we have a big community in Brazil. But because of a lot, of course, financial issues, first world countries can afford more our services and products, unfortunately. So we have of course, US is our biggest market nowadays. We are very strong in Australia because, almost 10 years ago, we had a collaboration with the local dental lab from Russell Young, a dear friend that really did an amazing work in Australia. So it really grew, the concept grew a lot in Australia. The first countries that I did courses outside Brazil were in Florence in Italy and Germany in Stuttgart. In Italy with my dear friend Dr. Andrea Ricci, and in Stuttgart with Anaxdent, with Andreas Kopietz. So naturally, the beginning of the DSD story 10 years ago, Italy and Germany were two strong countries. But as we moved into 3D, we moved the headquarters of the company to Madrid. Madrid became a big community as well. So nowadays, we actually work with doctors from all 5 continents. We have doctors working with us from, I don't know how many countries, but dozens of countries.
One of the questions maybe just pop up here. The European countries are more likely seen as cold people, let's say. And this whole concept is based on emotions, let's say. Just to have the patience and have an emotional communication. And having the result to show and make the case acceptance more higher. How you see the difference of Europe and to other continents, let's say?
Yeah, I can tell you that one of the important parts of DSD is what we call emotional dentistry strategies, right? Basically, emotional dentistry is a combination of several different strategies to increase perceived value, right? So communication strategies, marketing strategies, storytelling strategies, changing the experience of the patient, remodeling our office. How do we change the way the patient perceives dentistry, psychologically speaking? So that is emotional dentistry. I can tell you that the emotional dentistry strategies are successful all over the world. We've been working with dental offices all over the world, including Europe. We have very successful offices using emotional dentistry in Holland, in Germany, in England, Scotland, of course, Italy, Spain, France. So I don't see, theoretically North Europeans, because South Europeans are Latin, they're more like South America, but the north of Europe, culturally, yes, they are more introspective maybe, they are more colder, but I can tell you that everybody in the world gets emotional when they see themselves with a confident smile, a healthy smile. Everybody in the world likes to be treated well. Everybody in the world likes to be surprised in a good way. Everybody likes when their expectations are exceeded. These are all feelings that are good strategies in any country.
So when you are here, I just have to ask, what's your perception about Turkey?
Turkey is a country where I also had a lot of links. You know, I worked in Istanbul for a few years. Istanbul was kind of my second home for a few years. I was going a lot to work with Galip Grel over there. I did courses, as you saw. Istanbul was part of the DSD World Tour 5 years ago. I just came back from Istanbul actually the end of last year. So a lot of aesthetic dentistry is very big, very strong in Turkey. You know, Turkish people, they really appreciate design and aesthetics. So I think it's a very strong country for these topics, and I see a lot of opportunities over there in Turkey.
Okay, perfect. What my next question will be efficiency. When you compare the results that dentists doing it without any smile design concept and doing, let's say, the old-fashioned things with like direct mock-ups or conventional wax-ups. When you say smile designing concept gives us a more efficient results at the end, and the second part of the question, the scientific data, do you consider that what would you suggest for the young professionals to make a studies about smile designing concept and the resultings?
Can you repeat the first part of the question again?
Sure. Sorry. The efficiency, I'm asking that when you give so much time and energy on this documentation and planning and everything, at the end, most of the people were complaining in the beginning of this story that when we planned something, it was 2D and it was not really efficient on the chair side to see the same results. But now it's 3D. But do you consider like this is the ultimate result and everything is fine now?
No, it's a constant evolution. What we have today is amazing in terms of precision and quality. I can tell you one thing, whatever you do to improve your planning is worth doing. Every smart person invests much more time planning than executing. Every smart architect and engineer spends more time planning than executing. Every smart businessman plans more time planning than executing. And dentists, for some reason, do the opposite. They don't want to invest on planning as much as they want to invest on executing. Why? Because usually you need to plan before your patient pays you. And you execute after the patient pays you. So you don't want to do work until the patient pays you. And then the patient pays, and then you do the work. The problem is that if you think like that, you're not going to do what is ideal. You're not going to do what is correct. And what is correct is for you to invest your time to diagnose and plan as best as you can, because it's going to generate better treatments, more profitable treatments, and will increase case acceptance. So it's an investment that you do. So you plan better means you present a better plan, means patients will love your plan, pay you, and then you're going to execute the plan. So in dentistry, we need this paradigm shift where the clinician needs to understand that it's worth investing on something before the patient pays you, because midterm, long-term, financially is going to be the best investment possible.
About the second part of my question, I will combine with something else actually. The dental education during the universities. How you think it is possible to implement all these planning sessions into dental schools, which is because the idea behind all of this is the dentistry is going for a single point, which is planning and execution. But in dental schools, there is a lack of this. So how you see there will be a solution for this problem?
Even before digital, in general, dental schools were not giving enough importance to diagnosis and planning. So it was much more about technical execution, how to do things. So this is a classical problem. It's not a problem because of digital. It has been there forever.
Yeah.
So I love dental schools that really invest energy on making students think, making the students interpretate the situation, making the students brainstorm the options and really become experts on creating plans, creating reports, creating this beautiful process of understanding the pros and cons, risk assessment, and what are the options for each problem, right? So I believe that digital is here to help us teach that as well. I believe that digital is a great educational tool that hopefully more and more educators will use technology to teach students to be better thinkers.
And final thing is about here that the studies that we see a lot of literature knowledge on implants, on laminates or everything, or the adhesives, but about smile design concepts, the how well it works and how well it gives the communication or the information to the patient. Do you think there should be any studies done about regarding this concept, regarding this topic?
I didn't understand. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the thing is the literature, the studies that should be done on digital smile design. What do you think the topics should be?
Oh, digital smile design is very broad. You can digital smile design, the concept, DSD concept. It's about 5 different topics. So when we talk about DSD, we are talking about using technology and communication systems to improve facial-driven smile designs, to improve diagnosis and treatment planning, to improve patient communication, case acceptance, to improve clinical efficiency and through digital dentistry, to improve our marketing strategies and create more value towards dentistry. So these are the topics. So you have dozens of interesting topics to research. People if you talk about digital dentistry itself, it's just a little piece of DSD. If you talk about smile design, it's just a little piece of DSD. If you talk about marketing and patient communication, it's a little piece of DSD. If you talk about team communication and treatment planning, it's another piece of DSD. So it depends on what topic. Our team is doing a lot of publications, and we publish on all different topics.
Perfect. I think young researchers probably who are really into the digital dentistry will do such a papers and give more efficiency for your workflow.
Yes.
You created, or I don't know who created, but you are a part of it, the orofacial club.
Yes.
The dentists and doctors, do you see that they are having the same perspective on cooperating for orofacial planning, or what your experiences on this topic?
Yeah, this is a topic that I believe is very interesting, very cool. It's a topic that needs to be much more explored. Of course, if you are an aesthetic dentist, rehabilitating smiles, and today you have so many great extraoral procedures that you can do. I think it's natural that dentists and plastic surgeons start to improve their communication. And it's not only about referring to each other, because a dentist referring to the plastic surgeon, a plastic surgeon referring to a dentist, is something that has been happening. Not a lot, but it's something that has been going on for decades. It's not new. What I mean is to improve this integration, to really treatment plan together, to really learn from each other, to really understand the techniques and possibilities from the other side, right? So the Orofacial Club that I started, it's bringing together top clinicians and top... oops. Lucas.
Someone forgot you there.
The light. You turn off the light. Yes. You turn on. Now you turn on. Now it's good. So we started this group, and we have an amazing group that is, it's very passionate about orofacial aesthetics, facial analysis, smile design principles, exploring the surgical procedures with the restorative procedures. We had a meeting last year. That was the first meeting of the group. It was very, very cool. People from all over the world. We are having actually next week a roundtable with the group that we're going to transmit live. So I think that it's something that every dentist, every restorative dentist, every aesthetic dentist should explore much more, and every plastic surgeon should also explore much more.
Perfect. As you mentioned that you were in Istanbul with Galip Gürel working, and he's one of the godfathers of smile designing, but analogly, of course. And you were the first inventor probably of this concept. And when you go back for 10, 15 years, what would you say as a sentence with, I wish I had done this for the concept or for the app or whatever?
If I would have done something different?
Yeah.
No, it's just, it's all part of the process, all part of the journey, all part of the learning experience. Every step was worth it. Every piece of the puzzle was necessary. Every mistake had a reason as well. I was lucky to have great partners, great collaborators, great professionals that I worked with, like Galip, people that really enriched my path, people that allowed me to express my ideas, great mentors. So it was a constant evolution from almost 30 years ago when I started, starting with my father, that was my first mentor, and still today a great dentist, great smile designer, great treatment planner. And then, going abroad, leaving Brazil, going to US, and then Europe, and then Turkey, So I don't regret anything, and I don't think I would change anything, or I don't wish that anything would be different. Not at all.
Perfect. Well, I wish everyone to be so secure of their decisions. So,
but don't get me wrong. Many mistakes, many failures, many days where things didn't make sense. The journey is tough. The journey is not easy, but you need to believe that everything happens for a reason, and you need to learn.
Just go. Sorry. We call it in Turkish, it's salt and pepper of this journey.
Yes.
So when we talk about, again, the DSD, what is the missing link to go for the artificial intelligence for nowadays?
So artificial intelligence is the next thing, right? Everybody's talking about artificial intelligence. We all know that artificial intelligence is already working in certain industries, in certain areas. But artificial intelligence in dentistry will also happen. It is the future, but it's not easy. It's not something that is, everybody's talking about it, but when you understand a little bit, you understand how far we are from real impacts of artificial intelligence. Of course, simple things will start to be automated. Everything that is related to communication and marketing and data management, this is easy for artificial intelligence to help us, to add value, right? But when it comes to diagnosis, treatment planning, and smile design, clinical execution, we're still relying a lot on our hands, on our brain, on our eyes, to understand what is wrong, to build the solution, and perform the treatment. So we have, of course, artificial intelligence growing on, for example, one of the areas that is going to happen first in dentistry is interpretation of X-rays and radiographic images. So this is something that artificial intelligence is already working, and it's going to be very real very soon. where computers will be able to analyze an image and tell you what, if we compare we looking at an image and a computer looking at the image, computers will learn very fast how to identify things that our eyes may miss, right? So this is an area that is happening. But for example, smile design, that is our area. The software, the DSD app is working with artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence is speeding up the process of designing smiles, but you still need a very good smile designer making final changes and adapting or correcting what the computer is doing wrong, because faces are completely asymmetric, very individualized, very unique. Aesthetics is very subjective. So it's very hard for a computer to place a smile and say this is the ideal. So I believe that artificial intelligence will help us with some steps, but we still have many, many years ahead of us of needing a very good smile designer behind the computer, fixing things to make it in harmony with the face.
The AI or all the computers just working like it's a math, but dentistry or medicine is not a positive science, so it has to be with person's decisions or emotions and everything together. So I completely agree on you with this. So when you compare your concept, like after you launched the DSD, many others in many other countries developed other softwares or brands of smile designing concepts.
Yep.
How you see yourself in such a position as a strong and weak sides on this?
First, I feel very proud because we were able to change the industry, and all the principles that we started 10 years ago, I believe every intelligent company today is copying. Our principles of documentation, our principles of communication, our principles of smile design, the smile frame, our principle of the 2D, 3D integration, how we make the link, how do we link the design with the treatment planning, how do we use technology to do the specialty simulations based on facial-driven smile design. So all these principles are now being copied and being used by all major companies, and I think that's the thing that needs to happen. I was never into protecting my ideas. I was never into I'm the only one that can do this. I think every good idea needs to be shared, and the world is big. There's room for everybody. There's room for every company. So I feel happy that more companies are embracing these ideas, because I really believe in the ideas. I really believe that these ideas will help more dentists do better dentistry. So we need powerful companies, small companies, big companies, moving towards these principles of patient digitalization, cloud dentistry, interdisciplinary simulations, digital communication, guided dentistry, and digital quality control. These are the six basic digital principles that DSD brought to dentistry, right? So yeah, I think competition is great. It pushes you. Yeah. Every time a smart company comes with a similar solution, it puts good pressure on us to keep moving. I'm very happy to say that until now we are always one step ahead. Still, maybe one day we will not be one step ahead. Others will be ahead of us, but that's life, and we learn and we grow, and we are fine because I like looking to the future and really trying to understand what is the next step. And then as soon as I have a clear vision in my mind, of course, my humble opinion, I love sharing this idea with as many people as possible.
Perfect. My last question would be, you are a tradition of Coachman tradition for 160 years. So would you consider your children to continue dentistry and follow this tradition for furthermore?
It's 170, all right?
70, sorry. Miscalculation.
1850.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, we have this tradition, 6 generations in the family. We're very proud, of course, of this tradition. I love history, so for me it's very special to be able to have this tradition behind me, to have these ancestors with great stories, and to research the stories, and to have the documentation of what they did in the past. I'm very proud of this, and I hope that one of our kids will follow the tradition. Me and my brothers, we have a lot of kids, so there is a big chance that somebody will become the 7th generation.
Perfect. I think that your name will be remembered anyway. That after 100 years, one of the key leaders of dentistry and changed the dentistry forever. Like many others, like DC, Gerber, or Esch and Remford, and like this, you will be the keystone of the dentistry. So one of the questions that the audience asked, that I'm wondering there is any occlusal adjustment option in DSD. If not, are you planning any integration like virtual articulators?
So when people say DSD, I need to understand, what do they mean with DSD? Do they mean the DSD app, the DSD concept, the DSD planning center software? Because DSD is all about function. I grew up in the comprehensive, interdisciplinary, functional dentistry. That is my passion, right? Aesthetics is a consequence. Aesthetics is something to add on. So since day one, every single plan that we do, we plan aesthetically and we plan functionally. So we use many different softwares that allow us to bring the ideal smile design guided by the face into a virtual articulator and plan functionally the case, or diagnose functionally the case, and then plan the case based on it. So the question maybe is about the DSD app. The DSD app is a smile design tool, is an aesthetic tool to give the entry point for the dentist, to allow the dentist to see what is the ideal design for that face. So the app gives you the upper design, the aesthetic design, that is purely aesthetically driven. It's purely subjective. Now, once you have this starting point, you need to export this ideal smile design from the DSD app, and you need to import this into a CAD/CAM software that has a virtual articulator. And then in the CAD/CAM, you're going to bring the lower, and you're going to compare the upper DSD design with function, and then you will evaluate if you can make that work, if you need to change the design, if you need to design the lower, what is the treatment plan options, and so on. Now, the DSD app is evolving, and we are working very hard to bring the lower wax up into the app as well. So very soon, we're going to be able not only to do aesthetic upper design in the app in 3D, right? Because the app now is 3D, 2D and 3D. But very soon, we're going to be able to do a 2D beautiful simulation in the app. The 2D becomes 3D upper. Then you bring the lower, you play with the virtual articulator, you define your vertical dimension, you can wax the lowers, you can check the upper and the lower functional design, and then you can export this into other softwares to plan the restorations, the aligners, the implants, and anything else that you may need to plan. So it's coming.
All is in DSD app, just to repeat once.
So the last thing that I was explaining is what the new developments in the DSD app. Yes.
Perfect. Amazing. So what would your advices for the people who are just interested on digital smile design to implement it into the clinic, let's say, for lastly?
The first, there's, of course, we usually have the DSD residency, a 3-day course to explain all, right? Yeah. But to summarize, if I could summarize very, very briefly, the initial steps, I think that the first step would be for people to watch the course online. We have now the whole course online available that people can watch online. So that's a great first step, because the strategy is very comprehensive. It's not like something simple. It's not like clinical procedure. Is a is a very comprehensive strategy. But beyond watching the course online, what I would say is that one big first step is to have a scanner. I believe that every modern dentist needs a scanner as soon as possible. You need to have an intraoral scanner. That's the only technology that a dentist really needs, right? After that, you need to have somebody on your team that is good with technology, that is the responsible for running technology daily. You need what we call the DSD coordinator. The DSD coordinator is the key point because the dentist is too busy. The dentist needs to focus on the treatments and on the patients and on diagnosis and on treatment plan. So one of the most important things that every clinic that is successful with DSD had done in the past is to have what we call a digital coordinator, the person that understands the process and takes care daily of the process happening properly.
Perfect. Someone in the background has to do all this work beside the dentist. That is the key point, as I understand and agree on this. For my final question, and we say goodbye, and I think our time is also up. So I will be hosting Galip Gürel on Monday, as you are.
Wow, great.
So my question will be, if you, sure, I will be doing that. If you would be a regular dentist, let's say, what would you ask to Galip and learn the answer?
If I was a regular dentist, what would I ask Galip?
Yeah, and learn something from him.
I think there are many things to ask Galip. Galip is a very unique dentist with amazing combination of skills. You know, he's a great clinician, but he has a great vision. He really was able at the peak of his career to really contribute to innovative ideas about aesthetic dentistry, right? I usually say in my lectures that Galip is among the few great clinicians that are also great smile designers, because these are two different things. You can be a great clinician and not necessarily be a great smile designer. He's very good on both. So I did learn from him on that aspect, and some of the DSD principles started when I was working there with Galip. So you know, I think
that was a tough question, I think.
Yeah, I don't know if Galip can teach that, but I think one of his main, because he's a great clinician, he's a visionary, he's a great smile designer, he has artistic skills in hands, but one thing that he has that is really strong is his charisma. He's very charismatic, and I think being charismatic is one of the best shortcuts to success. So if I was a young clinician, I would try to understand what makes Galip so charismatic, because if we can learn that, you know, so many doors can open.
Perfect. I will be asking that on behalf of you and hopefully he has a good answer for you and I will share it to you. Dr. Coachman was with me. I'm really proud to have him in my show, and I'm really thanking him again in front of everyone just to attending and giving his precious time with here. Thank you, Dr. Christian, again, and hope to see you somewhere in the world, and take care.
Thank you for the opportunity, for the time, and congratulations for the initiative, and all the best for you guys there in Turkey.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.